Be Yours by Kygo and featuring Imagine Dragons is a little bit quirky for one simple reason, and that is that the guitar tuning on the recording is a half step lower than a standard guitar. If you don't want to change the tuning of your guitar, you don't have to, and all the chords I'm about to show you translate perfectly just to a standard tuned guitar. But if you don't detune and you try to play along with the recording, it's going to sound a little bit off, or really way off, because you will be playing basically 1 fret higher than what the recorded guitar is doing. So what I'm about to explain to you is how to detune your guitar real quick from standard tuning, just down 1 fret. So what is typically an E, the 6th string, gets detuned to a D sharp. The 5th string, typically at an A, gets detuned to a G sharp. The 4th string, typically at a D, gets detuned to a C sharp. The 3rd string, typically at a G, gets detuned to an F sharp. The 2nd string, typically at a B, gets detuned to an A sharp. And the 1st string, typically at an E, gets detuned to a D sharp. So again, we've taken all these strings and basically just lowered them 1 fret in our tuning. From this point forward, though, I'm going to be speaking of our chords as though we're playing in E, even though technically what this chord would be a D sharp. But I'm going to speak as though we're playing in E. Alright, so the first chord is going to be this E. I've got my first finger on the 5th string 7th fret. I've got my ring finger on the 4th string 9th fret. I've got my pinky finger on the 3rd string 9th fret. And then everything else open. An open 6th string, and then open strings 1 and 2. You're going to strum across all strings. And in fact, the open strings 1 and 2 are going to become important in creating the tonality of each of these chords as they change. This droning 1st and 2nd string throughout pretty much all the strumming patterns. So the first chord is going to be this E. The second chord, we're going to keep this exact same chord shape with our first ring and pinky fingers, and my second finger is doing nothing. I'm just pulling it back to get it out of the way. We're going to keep this exact same chord shape. Take this and slide it down to the 2nd fret. It becomes a B, or a relative B to what we're talking about here. I've got my first finger on the 5th string 2nd fret, ring finger on the 4th string 4th fret, pinky finger on the 3rd string 4th fret, still open 1st and open 6th and open 1 and 2 strings. That's the second chord. The 3rd chord will operate as a C sharp minor. We're going to take this exact same chord shape with our fingers and just slide them up 2 frets. It becomes a C sharp minor. Again, my second finger is doing nothing. I'm just pulling it back to keep it out of the way. I'm using my first ring and pinky fingers on strings 5, 4, and 3. And then the last chord of the verse is going to be an A. I'm going to pick up my first finger and I'm going to take my ring and pinky finger, leaving them on their respective strings and space here, and just slide it down to the 2nd fret. Strike the open 5th string and strum across the rest, and you've got your A. So I've got my ring finger on the 4th string 2nd fret, pinky finger on the 3rd string 2nd fret. And these are the chords for the vast majority of the verses and the choruses: an E, B, C sharp minor, and A. And it almost feels like that song by the Cars, You Got Just What I Needed, or something like that. Anyway, those are the chords to the verse and most of the choruses. One specific here about the strumming pattern: a lot of it is just down strummed. So that's the rhythm that you're playing right there. You can hear the emphasis or the accents that I'm placing on it as well. This is it slow. And that's happening across the chord changes. Another specific about the strumming is that it involves palm muting. You take the fat of your palm right there and you gently lay it across the bridge, and it's going to muffle the strings a little bit, as opposed to just an all-out strum. It's giving you a bit more control. You can bring out the accents on those higher open strings as well, so you're kind of muffling the bass end of it, but then accenting the higher end of it. Towards the end of the chorus, instead of keeping our standard E, B, C sharp minor, A round, the last time through the chorus it's going to hold on the C sharp minor, or not last time through the chorus, but last time through the verse. It's going to hold on the C sharp minor for a little bit without resolving back to the A. And out of that C sharp minor, it's then going to go to a different set of chords. An F sharp minor, a G sharp minor, an A, a B, and then a C sharp minor. Here's the way that I'm playing the F sharp minor. And this is going to be kind of a difficult chord, but here's what it sounds like they're doing on the recording to me. I take my ring finger and I put it on the 5th string 4th fret. I take my pinky finger and I put it on the 4th string 4th fret. I take my first finger, I put it on the 3rd string 2nd fret. I've still got the open 2nd string, the open 1st string, and then take your thumb, roll it around, and grab the 6th string 1st fret. And that is the sound that they're getting out of the acoustic guitar. This is an F sharp minor. And then I take this exact same shape, which if you're a beginner, this could be a very difficult chord to learn, but it will be a good chord to have in your arsenal. So, stick with trying to learn this chord right here. Take this exact same shape and move it up 2 frets. It becomes a G sharp minor. You're going to strum again from the 6th string all the way through the open 1s and 2s. Then you're going to go to an A major chord. And this is kind of a standard, almost bar chord. I've shifted my shape now to, I've got my first finger on the 6th string 5th fret. I've got my ring finger on the 5th string 7th fret. I've got my pinky finger on the 4th string 7th fret. I've got my 2nd finger on the 3rd string 6th fret. And then still in open strings 1 and 2. So it does that for one round. F sharp minor, G sharp minor, A. And then it repeats that again. F sharp minor, G sharp minor, A. And then after the second round of it, it comes on up to a B major. So we're taking our A major shape and just sliding it up 2 frets now to the 7th fret. And then after the B, it comes on up one more time to the C sharp minor. And for the C sharp minor, I am shifting back up here to this C sharp minor with my first finger on the 5th string 4th fret, ring finger on the 4th string 6th fret, pinky finger on the 3rd string 6th fret, then open 1st string, or open 2nd string, open 1st string. And you can even hit the open E, the open 6 if you want to. And that's the verse, it comes together. Here it goes back into the standard chord progression for, I think, another piece of a verse, perhaps. Whenever it gets around to the chorus is the exact same chord progression with one small difference. The chorus will be the E chord, the B chord, the C sharp minor chord, and the A chord, until you get around to the 3rd round of these chords in the chorus. And you hear the bass the 3rd time go. The bass changes the tone of the chord by going to a G sharp, and the way that you would mimic that on guitar is a 3rd time through. Instead of sliding up to just a straight out C sharp minor, I take my first finger and I then put it on the 6th string 4th fret and emphasize that G sharp while leaving my ring and pinky planted where they are. So strum through the G sharp. Your 5th string will be muted, hopefully, by how you're laying your first finger. And then you'll still have the fretted 4th string, 3rd strings with your ring and pinky fingers, and open 1st and 2nd strings. And it would come together like... You hear that emphasized G sharp, and then the A chord again. And that's the chorus to... Born to Be Yours. And I think that's everything about this song. Yeah, so hopefully that will give you an idea about how to approach this song, Born to Be Yours by Kygo.